On that feeling respect. Yes, we know you don't care about me. Yes, we.
Morning, brother Mark. How you doing?
On that feeling
Glad
respect.
my friend. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good, good.
How are you? How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Nice. All right. Let me close this off. Make sure that this one is not repeating. Okay. Yeah, man. How is everything going in the cold weather?
Don't remind me of it, brother. We in it right now.
No, it's the cold that I haven't gotten in a long time. Kind of, get too comfortable with what was. And not,
Could never get comfortable in this cold, man.
yeah.
With what's happening home now, trust me, I wish I was there, but
Yeah, I know. It's a different dispensation and time. Yes.
every time, every
So,
time.
yeah, today, and my apologies. I did not see
Oh,
your
the
call.
missed call?
No, I didn't get that. So sorry for that. However, I know Louise is there. She took me during the week, and I was okay with that. I was ready for that, but I didn't hear anything else. I know we talked on Saturday morning, and yeah, I was okay for that. I didn't have no problem with that. But I didn't see your call or anything like that. Because I came home yesterday, I wasn't feeling well. I went straight to bed.
Oh, okay. It's one of those things.
Yeah, I just wasn't feeling it. I went to work, which it wasn't a full day work, and then I came home because they had some
Oh,
problems.
okay. But the same here. If you know me, then you know that I'm a little bit stuffy too. There's something going around, and
I'll get it.
I catch it too. So
I'll get it.
I'm hanging in there, brother.
So yes, we here this morning, and folks, we are here with Sir Ian Mark, no stranger to me, actually, family one, and
Oh yeah.
we all support the same party and movement in Grenada, the NDC party, and tomorrow is the NDC convention, and they're having a watch party tomorrow in Toronto here, and he will give us more details on that. And he's representing the Toronto chapter. Correct me if I'm wrong here. And you're the PRO, I assume, remember?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
So Ian, again, a pleasant good morning to you and welcome to GEMFM. I think that's our second meeting here on GEMFM. The first and second time.
Actually, I think it's the first one. I've been invited before, but for some strange reason, I haven't been able to make it. But this one, yeah, I'm here now.
All right, so welcome to GEMFM and Genesis Magazine Radio. Yeah, so tell us about what's going on in the NDC and the upcoming tomorrow convention, which is I think one of the best for compared to what we had on the other side of the fence.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here to speak in my capacity as the PRO for the NDC Canada chapter, and we're excited about what's going on in Grenada, obviously. Well, for us here in the chapter, we, as you stated in the beginning, we have a watch party going on tomorrow for the rally after the convention, and will be taking place at 1085 Bellamy Road in Scarborough from around 3 p.m. And we will gather there in our colors and have a big watch party of the rally. We have, it's a big thing. We have two guests, Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt from Dominica, and St. Lucia's Prime Minister Philip Pierre will be making appearances at the convention tomorrow, along with our co-artists, and one that one person everybody wants to hear from is the Prime Minister. He will be there tomorrow, and it will be a big event indeed.
Right. Okay, so somebody want to know where how they get there, if the directions and stuff like that, the actual place.
1085 Bellamy Road, it's at Unit 4 in Scarborough. Now, I have not been there. It's called the Avenue Restaurant.
Okay.
That watch party entails you come to the watch party, you don't have to really pay anything, but if you want to pay, it's $20 VIP.
Mm,
You will have a buffet dinner
okay.
for $20 while the watch party is going on, and it's going to be a really good time.
Okay.
So we're looking, I mean, so far we have about 50 people RSVP'd already. So
Mm,
it's going to be a really good event tomorrow.
right, right. So the NDC convention is taking place tomorrow. What is the highlight of that convention? We'll be expecting to see.
Okay, so the convention have two parts. The first part is a closed session where delegates from stalwarts of the party will be voting for a number of positions, vying for position, except the political leader. According to our party constitution, the political leader, once he's prime minister, he would not be challenged.
Okay.
Anything after that, everyone could vie for it. So from the chairman go right down to floor members.
Okay.
So that would be a closed session with delegates only. Now that would go on from about 9 to about 2 in the afternoon. So
Okay.
9 tomorrow morning until 2. That's the delegates part of the convention. Now after that, they will be meeting in, I think, Boucherville,
Okay.
where the rally will take place. Now that rally would be with St. Lucia's Prime Minister and the Dominican Prime Minister. Dominican Prime Minister with our Prime Minister for the rally. And that's where everyone will see on the big screen where we have the watch party happening tomorrow. So those are the two parts of it. The first part would be a closed session, and then the rally in the afternoon from about 3 o'clock. That's the rally, the watch party would be,
Right.
you
So
know.
what I mean, what the amount of delegates that will be coming out to the convention?
Well, it's a huge amount. Every constituency would be have delegates. I'm a delegate and I'm part of the Canada chapter, but there will be people from Britain, from the United States. Everywhere there is a chapter, the chapter will send 5 persons to as a delegate.
Delegate,
So it will be from around the world.
Okay.
Everyone who's a member of the party. So we will have the opportunity to vote for anyone who is running for position on the executive of the party.
And the executive body comprised of the general secretary?
Yeah, from the chairman, general secretary, deputy general secretary, PRO, deputy PRO, treasurer, deputy treasurer, go right down to our floor members.
Okay.
Right?
Right. So a party member, if I want to become a party member, what is the procedure and to become a member of the party?
Okay, and I could tell you from our perspective here, to become an NDC Canada chapter member, first you would fill out a form, obviously, and that form has some basic questions. You're a supporter of the party, which constituency do you identify with in Grenada and so forth. Then for our perspective here in Canada, you would there is a $35 membership fee that is annual. To continue, because that membership fee obviously goes to running the day-to-day functions of the party. Right. And it's a very straightforward process. And if they want more information, they can go to ndc.org in Grenada, our website, and the information is right there.
Okay.
Straightforward.
All right. So the chapter also have an election too.
Yes.
When is that taking place?
Now, okay, so right now, the chapter, every year, we have our executive election. That is, you would be voting, if you're a member, you would be voting for the chairman, deputy, treasurer, PRO, and 3 floor members. Right? Now, our elections, excuse me, is scheduled for next month, the 23rd. Okay. If I'm correct, the 23rd of next month. Before that, we have a general meeting.
Mhm.
All members, supporters, and well-wishers. We want to invite everybody to come out. That would be on March the 9th. Okay. Now, if anybody wants to get any information on that, we ask them to contact us at ndccanadagroup@gmail.com. ndccanadagroup@gmail.com, and we'll give them all the information. Now, you don't have to be a member of the chapter right now. You could be a well-wisher, you could just be a supporter. But we want everyone to come out to hear what we're offering, and we want you to participate. We anticipate most likely that the Prime Minister will join us on that general meeting on March the 9th. So we're asking everyone to make an effort to come out. We'll give them all the information, the Zoom link. It's not an in-person meeting, it would be one online. So they don't have to leave their house, and they could join us for that general meeting. Now, after the general meeting, then we'll have our election on March 23rd. Right?
Okay.
And to vote and participate in that, you would have to be a member of the chapter here in Canada.
And the same $35 for
would apply for membership
as well.
Yeah. And it's a very straightforward application process.
It's an online application?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So what type of activities you guys hope will be having through the year to stimulate the
Okay.
in the diaspora, in particular Canada?
Okay. So every chairman of the group would have their own slew of events that they want to implement. But we have been challenged by the political leader and prime minister to raise funds for our party.
Right.
The number one thing he wants us to do is to raise funds for our resource center. That is our national headquarters for the National Democratic Congress. He challenges us to find creative ways to come up to raise that funds. The year before, we had a gala.
Yeah.
Massive. We raised a significant amount of funds that went to our party, and it went towards the gala. He went towards the building of the resource center.
Yes.
From reports from Grenada, the chapters around the world here in the diaspora raised over $300 and something thousand.
Wow.
For the resource center, which we sent to Grenada. So all the chapters around the world, we are all putting, our backs to the wheel to get that done.
Right.
Like I said, certain chairmen would come in and they would implement certain things to raise funds. For example, coming up in April, we have a casino bus trip to Niagara Falls. That would be in April to raise funds again. So and then in the summertime, we're looking to put on barbecues and get together, domino competition, whatever we believe would raise significant amount of funds for our party. That's what we are going to do. But as I said, every chairman would have a plan of events in their head, and they would ask us to implement it.
Right. Very good. Yes, so here we are, folks. We're talking to Mr. Ian Mack, the PRO of the NDC chapter Toronto, or Canada, I should say. And we are talking about the upcoming convention tomorrow, NDC convention.
Yeah.
And there'll be a watch party at Bellamy Road. The number again?
1085 Bellamy Road in Scarborough, right. Unit 4.
Unit 4. So Canadians in Toronto, Scarborough, Mississauga, Brampton, everywhere could come on down.
And be mindful, there are watch parties in London. There's a watch party in New York. There's a watch party in Florida. And I think that there are a couple other watch parties in the Caribbean where Grenadians live. So it's going to be a huge event. And so asking everyone to come out, even though you're a supporter, you're curious, just come out.
Right.
You don't have to you yellow, just even though if you're not a supporter, but just come out and see what the NDC is all about, because we're doing our government is performing really, really well in Grenada. And right now, we're going to show you that our party is actually operating really well too. So the party and government is working really, really hard to advance Grenada, to push Grenada forward.
All right. So is there any other thing that you'd like to share with GEMFM audience, that you need to know?
Yeah, including you, John. Come out tomorrow. We're looking forward to seeing you. Come out to 1085 Bellamy Road tomorrow and then join us on March the 9th for the general membership meeting. Just again, email us at ndccanadagroup@gmail.com. We'll give you all the information. And then after that, we would like to see everyone become a member of NDC Canada chapter because our elections is carded for March 23rd.
Right.
So come on out and everything, get the ball rolling and get the Canada chapter rolling and, participate. All the positions are open to members. You don't have to have any special qualification as long as you have the NDC party at heart. You could become a member of the executive.
I think my buddy Delbert is here, my co-host of the show. Welcome, and again, Delbert is my partner in crime on a Saturday morning, right here.
Good morning, good morning, comrade. How are you doing?
Not too bad, brother Delbert. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Good to see you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so you guys are excited for tomorrow, huh?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge. We're really, really, really excited, man. And the vibes and the word from Grenada is that the whole place turn up. And with Black Dan winning in Trinidad last night, then Grenada is on a high right now. Carriacou Carnival is on a high right now. So the whole place turn up.
Are these conventions important?
Of course they are important.
Why?
Well, first of all, our party constitution dictate right now that we should have a convention every year, so that you shake up the executive of the
which is a bad idea, by the way.
Well,
no, it's a bad idea.
Well,
I know you can't agree with that, but it's a bad idea.
Well, I'll leave that for those higher up to challenge. But
what can you accomplish in a year? You elect an executive and you give them 1 year starting from scratch to do what?
Well, that's the way it has been operating for a number of years. And just to put a caveat here, it is being reviewed actually right now. I mean,
they've been saying that for 15 years, by the way.
No. But if you had listened to consultation leading up to the convention, the Prime Minister has reviewed the party constitution and recommendations. One of the things that delegates would be voting on tomorrow is to whether or not that should be extended to 2 years or 3 years. So it's in the work right now.
The Prime Minister should not be the one reviewing the party constitution. They should have had a committee which had been in place many years before. Okay?
Well, I wouldn't really speak on that because that could open to a number of different interpretations right here, and I wouldn't really give my opinion on that.
Listen, like I say, I don't expect you to agree with me, but these things are relics.
It's not about agreeing, really. It's about how far I'm willing to go to preempt people higher above me in giving an opinion on it. That's what
I don't have those restraints.
Exactly. That's why you could pile on me right now, and
I'm not. No. I'm not piling on you. I have said these things. I've said this before. These conventions are relics. They're relics of the past. We seem not to. As a matter of fact, the NDC constitution is trash. Because within the NDC constitution, there are some major violations against the Grenada constitution. Did you know that?
I'm listening.
So I think that these conventions should run.
No, you just made a very bold point. that
Mhm.
our party constitution is in violation of the Grenadian constitution. So I am
Yeah, it
asking
is.
you to be more specific
Okay, so for example, it says that nobody can challenge the political leader if he is in office. All right, that's one of the major ones. While our constitution say it is the member of parliament who commands the most support, in direct violation of the constitution.
Okay. Well, off the top of my head, this is what happened. The NDC is a private organization. It does not
Is it?
versus, well, hold on. Versus the national constitution. National constitution is what it is. The NDC constitution is for a private organization. And that organization could run and put any laws that they see fit for their operation, period. So whereas the national constitution is between regulate the behavior between the people and the government, the national party constitution is operate totally differently.
You're splitting hairs here.
No, I'm not splitting it. That's a fact. That's what it is.
No,
The
you
national
are.
constitution, the
I've been-
national
I've been-
constitution
listen,
regulate the
I've been
affairs
doing this.
people
I've
and
been doing
state.
this.
The party
I've been doing this
constitution,
a
on the
long
other hand,
time.
is just what it is. A party
Okay, so
is a group of laws that regulate the organization.
So the question as to whether or not the party is a private organization, that would be up for legal interpretation, because it is an organization that is afforded certain state privileges and sometimes even state funds. So can you really call yourself a completely private organization when you have that you are so intertwined in the public sphere? I don't know.
But Mark, let me ask the other question, because
until such time that this changes, that's just the way the cookie crumble. Until such time, because you try to pile on me. Hold on, brother. Hold on. You trying to pile on me now about
I'm not. You keep saying that.
Hold on, brother.
Okay,
hold on, brother. Hold on.
Okay, hold on. I don't like you saying I'm trying to pile on. I'm asking questions.
Okay.
On to you.
And that's a question I believe you should take to the higher echelons of the party.
No.
Yes.
Come on. To be fair, you should take it to the higher echelons of the party. And as a PRO for our chapter, just remember, I'm not the PRO for the party. I'm just the PRO for the chapter. I believe you could take that concerns to them, right? And it would be fair. And
I'm not a member.
Until and unless they tell me, okay, you know what, Mark, you could go ahead and talk on our behalf, on the party behalf about our national constitution, then I'll do so. But then to kind of pile on me now and then call our constitution, saying our constitution is a violation of the national constitution. Come on, brother. Come on.
Yeah, but
there's no come on. It is in violation. Are you saying
it is not? Again, you're still piling on it, and I'm not
piling on. I'm asking questions.
Yeah, but let me ask you a question.
Well, hold on, John. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. The fact that you are unable to answer the question.
I'm not unable. I'm refusing to answer the question. I'm refusing to take debate, to have this debate with you this morning.
I'm not baiting you. I'm not baiting you.
You are actually. You are.
Right. Guys, you're not ready for prime time.
Okay.
I'm sorry. You're not gonna get me to take the bait.
Well, hold on. But you know, and I know that the constitution that you're talking about, that you're comparing the party to trash towards what he's doing, you don't believe in the constitution of Grenada either. You don't like the constitution of Grenada either.
No, I don't.
So now the constitution that he's talking about, all right, does not, like you say, in violation of the constitution. So where do you draw the line?
How is it not?
Where's the distinction?
Okay, so let me answer that. Whether or not I am in favor of the Grenada Constitution or not is not the point here. And whether or not I'm supportive of the Grenada Constitution is irrelevant. I'm just one citizen. Okay? So the reality is that that's the laws that we operate by.
Yeah, but and then the constitution doesn't make reservation for political parties. You know that.
Yeah, there's a lacuna.
Of course, I know that, but
Yeah,
John, that clause in the NDC constitution, and I think that's not an NDC problem, by the way. That's similar with all the political parties in Grenada. Okay, so when you say I'm piling on, that's not an NDC problem. That's a political party in Grenada problem, because other parties have that kind of same clause in their constitution, right? The reality is that it would still violate the constitution. It does.
Okay. All right. So, my friend, we're here. We want to get the message out. Tomorrow is the NDC convention, and it's happening live.
And the other reason that these things cannot be taken seriously, I get this thing. It's a feel-good time for the party. Everybody needs that. But for example, his chapter in Canada is having an election after the convention.
Yeah.
Make that make sense. That make sense.
Or what's your problem with it?
Well, all the arms, okay, and I've been organizing politics since I was 10 years old. All the arms of the party apparatus should have had their elections before the convention.
Okay, what's the problem with it? You're not answering the question. What's the problem with it?
Well, that's just sort of Robert's rules of engagement.
Whose engagement? Yours or
Robert's rules? Did you hear me say that?
It makes no sense to us because
wow.
it's irrelevant to us, and here is why. And let me tell you why. Okay, our general secretary, who is the one who oversees all elections.
NDC does not have a general secretary.
Come on, brother. Can I just speak?
You feel free to cut me off whenever you want.
John, I mean, if you're gonna have a discussion here, you're gonna let me speak sometime too, brother. Come on. Okay, so our current general secretary, as of today might be his last day, brother Larry Barry, who oversees all chapter elections, right? He's not running anymore. So I think that post would go to the new general secretary. But Brother Barry has assured us that he will work in collaboration with the new general secretary, and we will hold our chapter election after the convention. There is nothing wrong with that. So your interpretation of what you like or what...
It's not an interpretation. Do you know what Robert's rules...
relevant.
Okay, so let me ask you, do you know what Robert's...
Because contrary to what you may believe or what you may like,
it's not what I believe.
You and Robert or whoever else would like.
The fact that you don't know that is troublesome.
Our rules and our standards are set.
As a matter of fact,
absolutely no violation whatsoever.
The NDC constitution was written on Robert's rules of engagement, and the fact that you don't know what Robert's rules of engagement is problematic.
My friend, let me tell you something. Your interpretation, again, it's always your interpretation of what you...
Not my interpretation.
I just explained to you in the basic layman's term, what is happening. And I explain it to you, but then you drop back to your original point.
I'm not here's the problem. I'll make a quick assessment, because this conversation is that I find myself. Well, John, let me express myself.
Okay.
Or else, here's the problem, right? With all these sort of Johnny-come-latelys, NDC found itself, like they say, I want to get the quote right, that an orphan has no. Anyway, the point is that when there is a mistake, nobody owns up to it. But when there is success, it has lots of parents. Okay? So NDC found itself in a situation where it's in power. So it attracted a lot of people who wants to be close to power. Okay? And that's natural. That's not a Grenadian phenomenon. That's a human phenomenon. But so many of the people who have now showed up and say they want to do stuff, they have no idea what they're doing. They have no idea what they're talking about. Okay? And we are not making the kind of deep, fundamental, transformational changes that is supposed to be happening. So that when you have somebody come on and he's a PRO of a leading chapter and he does not know what Robert's Rules of Engagement is, when the very constitution that he's defending was written on those principles, that's troublesome.
All right.
That's troublesome.
Okay, John, let me address a number of things here. First of all, I hate engaging people with hasty generalizations. You generalize hastily about what I know and what I don't know. You're trying to put words in my mouth, and I think, truthfully, you're forward frontish and rude with yourself to try to put that to me. Secondly, our party would operate the way our constitution says. So whether or not you like it, our chapter would have its election on March 23rd after our convention. So you could like it or not, our rules are there to govern us, and we are going to operate by that rule. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
All right. So my thing here again, I want a recap of the convention happening and where and how people get involved. And again, I want you to give us again a synopsis again of how and what is happening tomorrow. And like in Bellamy, for those in Toronto, especially who want to come again, I know some people come and ask me about it already. So just clarification's sake, let the people know where and what is happening again. And don't forget to mention, it brought the bus trip as a fundraiser.
Yes, the bus trip in April. And when people turn up tomorrow at on Avenue Restaurant in Bellamy Road, they will get all the information. We have a QR code that they can scan, and all the information would be there, regarding the general meeting, the election, and the upcoming bus trip. So
Right.
all of these things would be there.
All right. Yeah. Okay. And then the election is on the 23rd?
23rd, yes. Yes. But before that, we have can't help but re-emphasize our general meeting, which we anticipate that the Prime Minister would also make an appearance. It will be online. So everyone, you don't have to be a member. You could be a well-wisher supporter. Just email NDC Canada Group at gmail.com. We'll give you all the information of how to link up and get involved in the general meeting, right? And then after that, after the general meeting, we'll have our elections.
So what next for the NDC chapter after the general election of the chapter?
Well, we anticipating that there will be a new executive. And we anticipate whoever becomes the chairman of that would come in with his own ideas of where he would like to see the chapter go. But we have one overriding principle. Our political leader challenged us to raise funds, and that would be the most overriding thing. So he would come in, have his ideas, but the main objective is to raise funds, as the Prime Minister always keep telling us, the political leader always keep telling us, for the establishment and building of our Community Resource Center in Grenada, NDC party headquarters.
And the continued membership drive is ongoing for.
Oh yeah. We never stop. So even when you come out tomorrow, our membership drive will be in overdrive tomorrow at the Avenue Restaurant on Bellamy Road.
And just for clarity, what time is it again? What time it starts from?
Well, we anticipate that if everything goes smoothly in Grenada, the first part of the convention, we're looking to start around 3 p.m. But we want people to come out early in the yellow t-shirts if they have it. Or if you're not just a well-wisher or party supporter, you don't have to wear, but just show up and we'll accommodate you. And as I said again, it's just $20 to participate in the buffet. It's a watch party, and so there will be other chapters from around the world, and everyone would be on the big screen in Grenada because it would be a live event broadcast from Bellamy Road. It would be a live event being broadcast from London, a live event being broadcast from New York, a live event being broadcast from Florida, where there are watch parties going on, and it would all be beamed in Grenada at the rally. So it's going to be a huge event. And we want everyone to show up and participate. Even though you're not a party member or supporter, just be a well-wisher, show up, and it's gonna be extraordinary.
Right. All right. So again, thank you so much, Mr. Ian Mack, PRO of the Toronto chapter of the NDC.
NDC Canada chapter.
NDC Canada chapter.
Yes, my brother.
So yeah, so looking forward to tomorrow, and I hope
yes.
A great time.
And you too, brother Dilbert, show up tomorrow. We can continue that conversation.
I come to Canada, but you stay away from me.
Bro, we can't have a conversation. Your arguments are too weak. And by the way, I was an NDC member for 20 years.
Right.
Okay.
Well, that was probably
and I didn't just
when
talk.
I was still in diapers.
I didn't just talk. I put my money into the party. So when guys like you come up now and try to tell me I'm rude and I'm insulting, I just have to dismiss it like political godflies.
All right.
Because
you should ask a question. What I was trying to get you to do was to engage in a deep intellectual conversation about political party processes. But you're not there yet, and that's okay.
All right, brother Dilbert.
Shouldn't we do that here? That's for that.
No. When should you do it?
Next time, in the next forum. Okay. This was just basically.
Tell me in which organization, anywhere around the world, not just NDC, because one of the things that we have is that when we measure ourselves just against ourselves, we think we're doing good, but when we have to measure ourselves against excellence, and then see how we're really doing. Okay. So if you can tell me, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. And when I said that NDC didn't have a general secretary, you took offense to that. But the guy has been dead for a long time, and you guys just refuse to bury him. The point is that there is no organization where you having an election at the top. Okay?
There we go again, Brother John.
Where you organs.
Brother John, is it all this?
Could you let me finish? Could you let me finish? Because I let you finish.
We
just afford me the same thing I afforded you. And actually, I was not talking to you. I was talking to John. There is no organization in the world where you, at the top, you have your selection or election processes to select your top executives when all the organs of that organization have not done the same. It doesn't make any sense. It's counterproductive. And the reason that didn't happen is because they didn't have a general secretary. That's why it didn't happen. Because if you had a functioning general secretariat of the party, these things would have been planned, and all the organs of the party would have had their elections and elected new people, and hopefully the new executive would have come out of that. Or if you had people who are running, I have two really good friends running for chairman of the party. I know more people in the party than you do. I've been associated with it for a much longer time than you do. But I'm not a member.
To me, or you're talking to John? Because you say
I'm not a member anymore. I'm an analyst now. So I ask questions, and I'll ask those hard questions to anybody. So it was not against you per se. Anybody who was here, and John could tell you that. I hold NDC people accountable, because what we don't do is not hold people who aspire to lead accountable, and then they deliver nothing and we elect them again. And I'm taking a different approach. I believe in holding people accountable, asking them tough questions, making them uncomfortable. Because if you can't, if the only questions you get, you are totally comfortable with it, you are not learning anything and you are not expanding your horizon. You're not stretching out your bandwidth. You're just operating in a comfort zone. And that's exactly what's happening here.
All right. So again, let me just rehash what's happening coming up. Sunday, March 3rd, 2nd, 2025, NDC Convention Rally, watch party at Avenue Restaurant. Donation us, e-transfer payment, NDC group at Canada at .com. Sunday, March 9, 2025, membership meeting online. Become a member now, $35 e-transfer payment to NDC group. That Green Group can at gmail.com. Sunday, March 23rd, 2025, NEC Canada chapter election online. So that's what coming up. And I see that for the bus trip, guys, that's also a fundraiser for the chapter coming up.
Yep, that's absolutely correct, my brother.
Look out to GEMFM. We have on our page, GEMFM Genesis Magazine page, you will see there as well the flyer for that. And on all of our online pages, the Genesis, the GEMFM, the John Kelly's page, you'll see the flyer for that. So check it out and be informed of what is happening. Again, from time to time, flyers and stuff or any activities happening for NDC Canada will be happening on GEMFM. You'll see posted. So check us out all the time for info to NDC Canada and NDC Canada. All right. So, Mr. Mark, anything before you leave?
Well, we're just looking up for a huge turnout tomorrow, which we know is going to happen. And for all the detractors out there, they would just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. That's what we're going to tell them. Enjoy it. Because our party is moving forward. Our government is functioning remarkably well. Our party is united, and it would be all on display tomorrow. That's it for now.
All right. Thank you so much. Again, I'm looking forward to seeing you at the restaurant today. Again, folks, this show is brought to you by Ola's Kitchen, 477 Oakwood Avenue. And come on down today or long Saturday. It's happening today at Ola's Kitchen, 477, and brunch tomorrow. So check us out at 477 Oakwood Avenue. GEMFM is always pizza and part of that enterprise. All right. So check it out. And also, Cookies Pastry Light and Ben Jones Street in Grenville. Just check them out, let them know that you heard it on GEMFM. And Century 21, Grenada, Miss Paula Latouche. All right, so this is your stuff for today. Check us out and be part of the movement of change and transformation. All right, so again, and our official show is dealing with the world leaders. And if you want to stay hang around for that, Mr. Ian, you can stay around if you want to, because the conversation into the present state of world politics as with Mr. Trump and what's happening is most recently their best friend, Mr. Trump, and his friend Zelensky, and what is going on, Delbert? I'll go to you first.
What's going on? I think what we witnessed yesterday was so all empires eventually do decline, right? The American empire has been rather resilient because it was different from all other empires. Okay? And I think that's one of the reasons it has been able to sustain itself. But eventually, all empires, history has taught us that all empires do decline, collapse, disintegrate. And I think what we saw yesterday was the beginning of that. The clearest picture that the American empire is in decline.
Do you think that Zelensky was right in his approach?
Yeah.
I mean,
when you're fighting for your very survival and the life of your people, and you have seen so many of your fellow countrymen killed, maimed, brutalized, raped, all this stuff, there are no rules. You don't fight fair.
So you think
you fight with whatever you have.
So do you think that Zelensky's approach and answers to Mr. Trump and the Oval Office, so to speak, the Oval Office, his rebuttal to Trump?
Okay, so he didn't set that up. He had no power to set that up. Okay. So Trump and his goon set that up to embarrass him. And it boomerang big time.
And he, Ian, what do you thought about the conversation, that White House meeting yesterday?
I think it was an ambush. I mean, we all saw what happened, but what I believe, what the consequences of it would be. The consequences, I believe, would, as here in Canada, as soon as it happened, the Prime Minister Trudeau tweeted out his full support for the people of Ukraine. Reaction from around the world. People were shocked what happened, and they all rally around Zelensky, except the Republicans in the United States rally around the president and vice president. But the display, the unprofessionalism that was on display yesterday was just totally shocking. And if you glimpse at the newspapers from around the world this morning, you would see that they're all in shock of what happened. And I may not go as far as Dilbert went to say that the American, quote unquote, the American empire is on a downturn. But what I would tell you is that currently, what is on display would have people like Reagan rolling in their grave. You know what I mean? It was just shocking to see. And one more thing, as we speak here now, newspapers around the world are saying Ukrainians are actually rallying around Zelensky. I mean, they take umbrage with what happened at the White House yesterday.
I think they seem like a very brave fella, you know, talking up to the president. He says, I heard one, I think Al Jazeera listening yesterday, and questioned the audacity of Zelensky being disrespectful. And I thought, well, for Al Jazeera to be uttering those kind of things, they'll be really out of touch, because here is a man that it's literally been ambushed, yes, set up to the agenda for Ukraine. He know what he wants. He know that he's supporting Putin outright, yes, and all he wants is to get in on Ukraine, yes, and he want to do it not the way the former president did it, but he wanted to be more bold and more aggressive, like in a nice, like not only in a nice way, but he's trying to get in with a deal for America, right? And Zelensky, understanding that, would not just yield to that kind of vibes. If you help us, help us. Don't help me for my resources, just for my resources. It's not going to happen. So you're working on that deal. Actually, how do we fix that? How would NATO respond to that whole Russia-Ukraine war right now? What would be the alternative now for NATO? Seen as America.
Well, NATO is not anything without the US, right?
Yeah, that's also
so the president could unilaterally stifle NATO, because for NATO to be effective in anything that it does, it needs the US to bring its capabilities to bear. Now, the other members of NATO are fairly, good. The French, the Germans, the British. And remember, NATO was not an American idea. NATO was a British idea. The British was the one who proposed NATO. And
Russia started NATO first before the Warsaw Pact?
No, NATO was the brainchild of the British Foreign Secretary coming out of, So, but it is in essence, it's an American institution, and its lifeline is the American president has the power to strangle it, and it appears that's what we're going to see over the next 4 years. There's going to be some important questions to ask, because you see, NATO has been part of the construct, the global construct, or the Western construct for the past 80 years, or thereabout, right? And how would the world feel or be without NATO? And these are questions that the American military industrial complex and its national security apparatus would have to answer. And I can tell you, there's the serious people, not the Republicans in office now. These guys are not serious. These guys are clowns. Okay? The serious people who think about the national security of the United States and the position of the West in terms of its hegemony over the world, they went to sleep last night pulling their hair out.
Do you think that Russia right now would consider itself being a better place knowing that what transpired yesterday?
Russia's a joke.
No.
Russia's a joke, guys. Come on.
Yeah. And I agree with that now.
Russia's a joke.
The
If
big
Russia,
question a lot of people is asking is like, what in God's name does Putin have over?
Exactly.
What, Trump?
Exactly. Yes.
That's the billion-dollar question.
He clearly has something on him.
Yeah.
What do you think Russia have on Trump? That Trump really?
I don't know. But he has something on him.
Yeah, it has to be, because how could you what we saw yesterday was the crumbling of American democracy in front of the television screen.
I mean,
crumbling of American
whatever it
democracy.
is, it's really embarrassing. But what he's doing now
And
is
the only people who is rejoicing from that are the Russians.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is it giving us more leeway to walk all over Ukraine now? Because he's been eating.
Well, yes and no, because what else can he do? They have destroyed the place.
And I think he just torture in Ukraine, and then the torture will get even bigger.
But there are implications for Russia too, guys. Come on. Russia lost their shirt in Afghanistan. Okay? They lost their shirt in Afghanistan. That led, the American system or the American military industrial complex took credit for the demise of the Soviet Union. What really expedited the fall of the Soviet Union was their adventurism into Afghanistan. Okay?
Charlie Wilson has been very, very instrumental in destroying the network. Charlie Wilson, in the Republican guy.
The Charlie Wilson war, right?
Yeah. Charlie Wilson, yeah.
Man, take the bull by the hand, and because American just relax, they wasn't doing anything, and he said, let me take it to the next level. And he did.
But that's usually the case in history. It always takes one person to galvanize everybody else, right?
He did that.
Yeah. If Trump think that he could appease Russia by doing what Putin says, jokey making, the Russians are just the Russians. No appeasement. Somebody drew a comparison like what Chamberlain tried to do with Hitler in World War II, gave Hitler everything that he wanted. And then in the end, Hitler just still invaded Poland and do everything that he wanted. No appeasement could these people like these cats. So if Trump go ahead and try to appease Russia, no, it's not going to happen. And some people are saying, oh, well, he's trying to get Russia away from China and all these.
Yeah, that's
nonsense.
He doesn't have to get Russia away from China. The Chinese don't like the Russians, and the Russians don't like the Chinese. Let's get that straight.
Exactly.
Whatever is happening, they know, is a loose marriage of convenience.
Convenience. Get along.
Yeah, and the Chinese they enjoy the fact that Russia is in a weak position now that they have to come to them. Okay? Because that's why, remember, prior to the war, right? Prior to Putin's war, Russia and China was negotiating, because China is lacking of a lot of natural resources like gas and oil and all this thing, right? And they need that stuff to continue to grow their economy. So they had signed this pact with Russia to build this pipeline for Russia, because Russia has an abundance of everything, to supply them with a massive amount of natural gas, oil, and everything. Russia waited China as soon as Russia got in trouble in the war, okay, what did China do? They said we have to renegotiate the pact.
Mm.
And they cut it by almost $75 billion and stuck it to Putin and say, take it or leave it.
Mm.
That's not
And he had no
friendship.
choice.
And he had no choice. He had no choice.
He need that, right? So
Yeah, because Russia doesn't produce anything. They produce oil and weaponry. That's it. Nothing.
Raw material. Yeah. And then to complicate this, we have now North Korea in the game.
Oh.
North Korea now sending soldiers to fight in Ukraine, also complicating the whole mess.
that kind of a building up like almost like the Vietnam War in a sense, yes, where the French started the war, America take it over. You know, would the American take over that whole thing eventually? Like forget NATO and just move in and fight Russia on the other end?
I don't think that happens, but I think what we're going to have, you're definitely going to have an insurgency, okay, for decades to come. All right, because people who lose their lives, seeing their family destroyed, lose children, lose husbands, lose wives, lose fathers and mothers, they don't forget this.
What do you make of Trump telling Zelensky that he playing World War III?
Yeah, there was no common sense behind that statement. It's kind of stupid.
Yeah, that's just bluster. It's
yeah.
not.
He didn't know what else to say, so he just said something.
Yeah.
There's no rationale behind it, because you could argue that point that when the last administration was in power and they were standing up to Russia and Putin was doing all his saber rattling and blustering and what he gonna do and what he was not gonna do and whatnot, but Putin was not speaking to the American military at that time. He was speaking to the American public, because he knows the American public doesn't really know what war is to look like, right? We don't know. No war has been fought on these soils, all right? So he was speaking to rattle Americans, but the military-industrial complex, the security apparatus was not rattled by that, because they knew that if Putin had made the mistake to use a tactical nuclear weapon, that Moscow was going to cease to exist within about 4 hours. He knew that. So he was never going to do that. This is a guy that likes his opulent lifestyle. He's enjoying it, but he can't get over the fact that the Soviet Union collapsed in '89, and he wants to create this great Russian empire of 300 years ago. It's not going to happen. The world has changed dramatically, So here you are, a country who has enormous natural resources, has really smart people, produce some of the best scientists, mathematicians, and writers in the world, and you can't marshal that human resource of your country, a huge country, to become a real global player. And the only reason that we're here talking about Russia this morning is because they have nuclear weapons. If they did not have nuclear weapons, nobody would be talking about them. Nobody.
So let me ask you something, guys. Anyone of you could answer it at any time. NATO, at this present state of being, given what happened yesterday, do you think that will unite the NATO forces even strong together, more, draw them closer together, where they may have had differences over Ukraine? Do you think that they will?
Of course.
But that depends on the United States and whether or not the United States is willing to go along with the rest of the NATO allies. It all depends on the United States. As we say, without the United States, NATO would be a shadow of itself. And the way things are going right now with Trump, most likely not.
Yeah. But listen, the Europeans know how to fight. The 2 world wars were fought there, right? So let's not.
But again, with the help of the United States and Canada, so
well, yeah, but
I will put fight in quotation marks.
the British and did yeoman service.
Yeah, they did.
Listen, clearly what America brought to
change when Canada and the United States entered. But
what America brought to the table was indispensable, right?
yes,
America bought resources, they bought equipment, they brought all this stuff to the battlefield. But I think the French in particular, who were in NATO then left and then rejoined, now sees themselves as sort of the leader in Europe, right? Because there's this tension between the French and the British, and the Germans don't want to seem too militaristic given their past history. So they kind of
and with Germany now kind of tilting more to the right, it's kind of like, gonna add a different perspective to things. Yeah. So
yeah, but and these are all things, but the Germans are not going to give up their cushy lifestyle to what's happening to live like what's going on in Moscow, where you can't find good toilet paper, So the Germany has one of the most advanced societies in the world. So they may be right wing, but they're not fatalistic, And some of them definitely are fans of Putin, but I think Europe is going to sort of reorientate itself over the next couple years, especially during this period, to see how they can counteract Russia. Listen, Russia has a long history of going to war with its neighbors and not being able to win. Okay? Usually much smaller countries, like they're doing now with Ukraine, like they did with Afghanistan, like they did 100 years ago with the Finns. Finland fought Russia to a bitter draw. Small country like Finland, that Russia could not win the war against them. So,
when I look at American power, I think Russia has the power in terms of military, right?
I didn't hear you. You break up.
America and Russia has the same amount of military power that they could.
No, not even close.
When with the enemies that they're fighting against, right? They could do what America have done in Afghanistan or they done in Iraq. Russia could have done all that same amount with the power they have. I believe that Russia don't see as this to be that kind of a destructive as we may think they are. I think they try to win a war, not with just bombarding a place, but they try to pick you piece by piece. Whereas America go the bomb.
But John, that's not reflective of what's happening. The reason Russia was not able to take over Ukraine is there are a number of factors. One, the equipment is old and outdated. Okay? So here you had in 2023, you bring in tanks from the Second World War that had no armored plates and all this stuff, and the Ukrainians were just blowing them up. You remember when in the early war, when they had like a 100-mile convoy stuck in the mud, okay, that they couldn't move the equipment. If an army is as strong as its ability to feed itself, Russia has not been able to feed its army. But hungry soldiers cannot fight.
You understand that, but at the end of the day, right? Russia still has some power to fight, and I think
what power? They haven't been able to take Kiev. So what power do they have?
They really want to do that. I don't think they really want to.
Of course, they wanted to do that. They wanted to take Kiev within 72 hours, man. Don't make no excuse for them.
They wanted to do that.
Russia is not our friend. They're not a democracy. They're not our friend. It's an oligarchy in power there, with a select number of people getting filthy rich out of the state, including Putin and the ordinary Russian man struggling on the street. Is that what we're about? I'm not about that.
So-called democracies happen.
Russia is not a democracy, and I'm not a big believer in democracy anyway. But it's not a democracy.
It even happens in democratic societies as well. So
of course it does.
Yeah,
of course, but it happens on steroids in Russia.
So my next question to you guys is, and I know Mr. Mark is here, and Putin, Delbert, we'll talk about Canada for a little bit. We see that Mr.
And listen, I've been to Russia. I had the privilege of visiting Russia. All right. So I don't think I'll be welcome back, but
Um, White Knot or North Star, we have Trump desiring to have Canada become the 51st state. You have the tariff going on. We have a leadership crisis within the Liberal Party, and they're vying for that office. One of which is a so-called friend of Trump, who most Canada see advertisement going up now that he will sell out to Trump to give great. Ian, what Mr. Trump requesting that Canada become the 54th state? And if so, what do you think of our leadership at the national level?
Well, first of all, Canada becoming the 51st state is the same thing as when Trump say, be careful, you're going to start World War III. You just bluster. It's just nonsense. You know what I mean? That's the equivalent.
Yeah.
I like Trudeau, but he should have never went down to Mar-a-Lago and kissed the ring. And in my view, that's where he went wrong. Flying down to Mar-a-Lago trying to appease Trump was one of his biggest mistakes. Now, we had a provincial election when? Day before?
Friday.
Yeah. And the consequences, the fallout from this, I think, while Ontario votes PC provincially, they usually take a different approach in Ottawa. They try to balance it out.
Right.
And that's been so historically. With a PC in Ontario, what we might see is that Canadians may look to keep the balance by putting in a Liberal in Ottawa. Because the economic engine of this country is Ontario, and they need a balance. Because we have hardly ever seen where there is a PC in Ottawa and a PC in Ontario. So if I was Pierre Poilievre right now, I would be looking really, 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 really hard to see where I'm going wrong. Even though he may try to adapt Doug Ford's approach, he and Doug Ford does not have that cozy relationship.
Yeah.
Right? So Mark Carney, I think it's Mark Carney election lose coming up.
Yeah. I been Canada and I watch politics. Every time a leader of the leadership is forced out, the person coming never wins the election.
Yeah, because the party is divided.
Right.
That's true, except we had Paul Martin when they did force out Chrétien, but Paul Martin didn't last long. We know that.
He lost the election. He lost the next election. He stayed until the next election.
Yeah, he did lose, but he did. I mean, Mark Carney might be facing almost the same thing like Paul Martin, where after they forced out Chrétien, we saw Paul Martin went to the poll and then subsequently lost. Mark Carney could learn from those things, but what the thing that's going in Mark Carney's favor is that Doug Ford winning in Ontario.
Yeah,
Canadians always put a balance.
But is Carney the right person at this time? Because his expertise is really just finance.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, economically, according to the polls, he's the one most likely, more than Poilievre, to put a check on Trump. The polls have consistently show that they trust him more than they trust Poilievre when dealing with Trump. Because in the early, you have to remember, Poilievre was the one who was actually echoing Donald Trump rhetoric here in Canada.
Could this see the resurgence of Trudeau?
Resurgence? No, I think Trudeau is done. I don't think there is any Canadian prime minister, if my memory serves me right, that has ever gone down and then managed to come back. No, none.
But overall, I think Trudeau in his last days have handled Canada leadership in a very good way, in my view. when it comes to dealing with Trump, even with Trump and dealing with all this tariff stuff, I think he handled it well. Despite going down there, I think to me, and
He had to go though. He had to go.
that's my thing, is that he had to go. People may not like it, but I think he did the right thing to show some form of leadership. Right? He couldn't just sit back and let it happen. And for
Yeah,
that,
but he didn't have to go and kiss the ring. Come on.
you're not the kids, you're like kissing.
And that's where the Canada is the 51st state came up.
Yeah.
You know, in that round table with
Yeah.
Trump, you kiss the ring and then he insults you afterwards.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. That was
Yeah,
that was
Yeah, Trump. Does anybody take Trump insults seriously anymore?
I don't know.
I mean, we kind of just expect him to say something stupid, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I knew guys growing up in Chantemelle who were drunk in the rum shop and had more common sense than the man, you know? So I mean, just ridiculous.
Yeah, but I think Trump in his ranting and raving, I think is more tribalism than anything else. You know, he's looking for his own, putting his own in place and trying to get world leaders to fall in line with him.
So I have this friend, right? He's a South African brother. He's a professor of sociology at a major university here in New York. And he swears, okay? This is a guy who's traveled the world, well-read, you know, studied all kind of societies over the years, over hundreds of years. And he said his best assessment is Trump reminding him of those African dictators of the 1960s and that they just looked like they were going crazy. And then when they died, we all found out that they had syphilis and it was eating away at their brain. And he said he's willing to put his career on the line because he thinks that's the situation with Trump. So because it is a disease that affects your cognitive ability. Because how did a man so clueless, okay, I ever get to that level, okay? I mean, and I pride myself of never liking the guy, even when he was just in business. But I don't hate people, but I got a special hate for the guy, man. I mean, this man is doing so many things that is disrupting so many lives. And so many missed opportunities are going to happen because of that. And even there's going to be a blowback in the US because some of the people who voted for him are going to suffer from his policies. They are going to, you know. All these people in rural America who voted for him, when they cut Medicaid and all the hospitals start closing down and they have to drive 200 miles to get a hospital, then they'll see what it feels like. I'm not going to feel sorry for them.
Even with the whole idea of immigration, right? How do you guys see that affecting the overall economic status of the United States in the next 6 months, next 1 year?
It will have an effect because there's something called the underground economy in every country. So America's underground economy is largely fueled by migrants. Okay, in 2022, I think the last time I saw numbers for that, because of their work in the system, they contributed almost $100 billion to the Social Security Fund that allows it to pay off retirees, right?
And
they don't get no benefit. So when you hear people online, oh, they're giving them everything, they're not getting anything. They're paying far more into that system than they ever going to get out, all right? And in the heartland, where all you have those pig farms and beef and cattle and farms, and that's who services that. So there was a comedian who years ago said, hey, if you want to pay $112 for your salad, yeah, let's kick them all out. But it's going to have an effect, you know? And not only that, too, we do like these people just out of a blue just want to leave their country and come to America. Is that the American globalization and American military adventurism has destabilized these countries.
Mhm.
So here America talk about, oh, the drug cartels in Mexico and Colombia. They'll never talk about the American public appetite for using illicit drugs. That's the problem. If nobody here was using it and buying it, they wouldn't be shipping it.
Right.
So it's going to have an effect. It's going to have an effect, and it's going to bite.
We have a kind of situation where the tariff is coming, yes? And Canada is now talking about intertrading, Ian, within the provinces. How, and I'll take the road answer after, but how do you think that will affect the local economy versus the United States economy if we decided to intertrade?
Look, we all know what are tariffs, taxes, and who pay the taxes? The consumer, period. You put tariffs on Canadians, Americans people, period. That's what it is. In regards to interprovincial trade, yeah, we all interprovincial trade barriers here. I mean, we're not supposed to bring down beer from Quebec into Ontario and all this kind of nonsense. They're gonna have to revisit that.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, between the provinces, they're gonna have to revisit that. But what we're seeing with the looming tariffs, a lot of people, even up to this 99th hour, believe that Trump is just making noise and his tariffs is not going to happen. But that's remain to be seen. What do you believe? You believe that he's going to slap the 25% tariff on Canada? Yeah, I don't
All the American lumber that comes out of Canada is unbelievable. You know, how that's going to affect the construction industry in the United States?
Big time.
Exactly. And it's and I mean, as Trudeau vowed, he's going to give a equal and opposite response. He's going to hit back. So, boy, the next couple of days ahead going to be really interesting. A couple of weeks ahead going to be very, very.
But the thing is that, right? Trump noticed what? Okay, so the last time when he did that with China and the agricultural products, the farmers they had to go to Congress and I think approve. It was what, $24 billion to pay off the farmers for shortfall because they couldn't export their stuff to China. So now you had the American consumer paying for it twice because they have to pay for the imports that were coming in that were now much more expensive, and out of their taxes they had to subsidize the farmers.
Good.
I mean, come on. It doesn't even make logical sense. And the thing is that the Republican Party has traditionally been a party that's against tariffs. Their whole mantra has been free trade. Yeah. So why now are you going to let this buffoon lead you down the path of destruction?
But I think Donald Trump don't subscribe to party politics. He doesn't subscribe to that. He's really a businessman, if for lack of a better term for him. Just doing what
I'm glad you qualified that.
No, it's true. You know, and that's what he does. So the people he pulling close to him is not politician either. You understand? It's people who is like-minded to him that doing what he wants to do, what he want to get done, and who riding on his coattail for the benefits of what he had to offer. You know? So at the end of the day, you have Canadian government who putting all the ducks in order, preparing for what happens, right? Ontario Premier is ready for him, you know. I mean, Doug Ford is like, come on, bring it on. I'm ready. I'm waiting for you, you know. So, what would he have to do to really defect that those attacks when they come? Because I don't. And I will sit back.
Why
happen?
Canada and America have the world's most peaceful border. Why would you do anything to upset your neighbor? You have the best neighbor any country can have in the world. Okay? You have the best neighbor. The Canadians are the best thing the American can have. And you decide, well, you know, I'm going to poke them in the eye? Seriously?
It doesn't make sense. I mean, Trump is on his own. I know what Canadian government has done to him. You know?
So one of the things I heard yesterday, one of the things...
His wife has a crush on Trudeau.
One of the questions that I'll leave that right in.
I'm just
One of
repeating
the
what I
things
see on
that
the internet.
as you talk, Canada, one of the questions that I think I heard was it a reporter from the independent newspaper asked Trump yesterday. Context, because the Craig Starmer went to visited the British Prime Minister went and visit Trump, and he brought a letter stating that King Charles wants him to visit, official state visit, come visit them in London. The reporter asked him, well, you want Canada to be the 51st state. How do you think Prince Charles would accept you take away one of his realms? Because Canada is still under the Commonwealth, under the British.
Yes.
And you could tell, like, Trump was tabulating that, what? And then Canada belongs to Britain. They have attached to Britain, and I'm going to there and visit the king. How am I going to deal with that? Like, he had no clue whatsoever.
Yeah.
That Canada was a realm of the British.
Yeah, listen. The look on his face
and he never answered the question.
No. I always enjoy the look on his face when he get a 5th grade question that
exactly.
he never knew.
Exactly.
Okay?
Like he had no clue whatsoever.
I think the guy is delusional in one sense. It's something that Trump feel that I'm in power. I have the power, so I could say anything I want. I could do anything I want. If you look at the first term in office, how he used to push himself around on people. You know what I mean? You go to the World Summit and in the back and walk, you don't ask for excuse, just push everybody across and just show up in front and put it together. Like I'm here. And
with his suits that are always too big for him.
Too long. You know what I mean? But given all of that, the world needs serious leadership. Yes? I don't think we're getting that from our leaders today. I don't think we have the leadership that the world designed to have. We also have soft leaders not standing up to Trump.
I can't think of any. You're right. I can't think of any major world leader on the
G7
on the stage right now that I can say I admire. None.
It doesn't show anything. I mean, like, you're looking to see somebody who stand up and you're not getting that. I mean, having said that, no, I was looking at something the other day. Do you think that the European Union would take back England into the mix? Would they try to go back in?
With Brexit?
I don't think it's going to happen immediately, but I think there's a possibility down the road that it can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then again,
but they're going to make them pay a price for it.
Britain want to give up its pounds for the EU, for the euro, and it's going to be a whole complicated process.
Yeah, but they didn't. They were in the EU before, and they didn't give up.
But I think they're going to put new demands on Britain now. Taking them back.
But the other countries trade in their dollars in their respective currencies still.
Yeah, BRICS is not.
A lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a possibility it happens. I don't know if it's going to happen.
You think Britain really having buyer's remorse right now?
Of course they do. Of course, if they vote on a referendum, now, they would win going away to get back into the union. Yeah.
I don't think there was a general consensus of the British people. I think the British people wanted to stay in the European Union.
But the people who wanted to stay, they didn't think they would lose.
Yeah.
And they didn't go out and vote.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's a mistake I've seen happening. I heard a guy say that even yesterday, in relation to this provincial election, he did not go to vote. He knew already that we're gonna win. I mean, his vote could make a difference.
Yeah.
When the situation comes on, the many people like him who didn't go to vote, who believed that Doug Ford would have won, they didn't go and vote. This is a clear choice, right?
Yeah.
But if the NDC, the NDP have make a big surge on election day, you know what I mean? Like they was in the third position going in, and look what happened to them. They maintained the party status as main opposition.
Yeah.
Right? So all the bashing they got as a non-party that wouldn't do anything. The Liberal leader, she lost her seat, and they lost you know what I mean? They show poorly. You know, Combi. What next for her? She's done. She gave up she mayor position. Now she lose the election. I mean, what next for her? I mean,
Well, there might be a way for her to salvage something if one of our winning candidates is willing to
give up.
give up his seat. But I can't see how, and you have to be a really, really strong candidate to win by a really huge margin for him to do that. So she
If
had the
but
security.
if you're a party leader and you lose, you need to go.
You need to go.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about it is she's in a unique position. Unique position she's in is one, she was a mayor for Mississauga. She only be there 1 year, and then the election was called, right? If all that.
Yeah.
And therefore, I think she do have a little bit of wiggle room. And again, on top of that, if someone is willing to give up their seat and let her run. But again, that's a big gamble she will take it, because if she lose that,
that's it.
That's it.
That's it. She done.
In politics.
I don't think the party was fully prepared for election. And I said,
we have to give Doug for what it is. I mean,
the man,
he called a snap election, and it's a rarity that you have a provincial government that's in there for 3 terms. That's
a historical thing.
1959 was the last time that happened.
Yeah, and me, I think even with that victory, right? Doug Ford had, he was consistent on his message. You know?
And even all the scandals that he had with the
unions,
and all the issues he had, he still managed to maintain the status.
I mean, I make a comment on somebody who's supposed to make thing that there's political scavengers. You know, they go looking for in the last minute, looking for stuff to distracting the voters voting for the party. With the woman who was campaigning for trying to raise funds. I mean, she wasn't even a member of the party, yet even running, and that will happen, right? The other guy who was on the ladies' step talking about the green belt, and I said to them, all of Canada was a green belt. So when you're talking about leaving a green belt and we're going to use it, everywhere in Canada was a green belt, and as when began to take place, you expand and you have to use up the green belt. So whether Ford give it up or you don't give it up, somebody has to give it up someday. Because Canada expanding, there's more houses being built, there's a housing shortage, okay? So, and then despite the housing shortage, there is a problem of employment, right? So people cannot buy houses, right? The average Canadian can't afford $1 million homes. The average house in Canada is $1 million, yes? So you have to be making $150,000 a year to get a mortgage, okay? By yourself. Or else you're join with somebody to get a mortgage for $1 million, because you're not gonna cut it, right? So the green belt question was out of the thing. That wasn't even making any sense to make a political statement right now. So from
housing shortage, 500,000 houses, and he failed on that, but still that didn't have any.
Because people's issue was, you have to understand politics, right? It's not about anything else that past thing, is what we want right now. And the issue was the Donald Trump thing, right? And people was concerned and still concerned about Donald Trump. And that's where Doug Ford put a nail in the coffin on that, right? And I don't think any of the leaders was not dealing with that. They wasn't talking about it. They wasn't tackling that. They never planned for that. Doug Ford have a plan for it, and he make it. Even though you may not do it, like you remember what he did? He apologized in the campaign and the debate for the green belt thing. He said, "Yeah, I said that, but then I had to stop. I did it. I had to apologize for it." And that take a lot of political guts to national thing to apologize to the people. Say, look, yes, I taught you to walk. I made a mistake. I apologize to you for that. But we have a bigger issue here. Understand? Our issue here is Trump. Our issue here is going forward, how we could pull this thing together. I think he pulled off that really, really, really good. And that sent a clear message. You know, Captain Canada, they even kind of call him Captain Canada now. You know what I mean? So, do you think that in the next five 5 years, he could run for the national leadership for Canada as leadership as Prime Minister of Canada?
French might be his Achilles heel. I mean, you have to do the Quebec issue, and if he's not fluent in French,
Yeah,
that would be Achilles heel.
And you have this in history. You've always had these sort of powerful provincial or state leaders or regional leaders who never able to make the crossover to national office. He seems, but I don't know if he has that design, because he's in a rather powerful position. He get, when you're at the national level, you're forced to make so many different compromises. All right. He's king of his castle, he's king of his castle. So he might enjoy what he's doing.
Provincial level, yes.
Yeah, he might be enjoying that a whole lot more than he would be as a prime minister,
Again, another thing he talked about too, and I thought when Crombie was criticizing him on it, was
isn't his salary higher than the prime minister's salary too?
I'm not too sure about that.
I'm not too sure.
Something I'll look into. But one of the thing about he made reference to is having this underground 401, right? People laugh at that, and it's true. And Crombie criticized him that a pipe dream wouldn't happen. The same thing you say about the 407. It don't make sense. But if you didn't have the 407, what would happen to Toronto traffic right now? You understand? You say those.
But let's be honest, John. Come on, the 407 was more feasible than digging below the 407 and putting. Come on,
wouldn't it be easier to go up?
No,
exactly. It would be easier to go up than to go up. Come on.
But
come on, John. You remember when Winty ran for St. Patrick's West and he said he's going to build a bridge from Sutton to Carriacou?
Yeah.
yes. Winty, Winty Fredericks was his name, or yeah.
You run from Liverpool.
No, that's more feasible.
He won, he won that election,
But I think when we see what happened in Germany, the underground train system to England to France and stuff like that, it's not impossible to happen.
But John, that
channel is a different
but
concept.
that didn't disrupt anybody.
No, but the don't disrupt nobody. How would it disrupt people? It's underground.
No, there's going to be some disruption.
Come on, John.
Look. Okay, only thing. Look, we have an underground crosstown that take almost how much years now, Ian?
Oh, good Lord.
we have
still no site no end in sight right now. Yeah.
2017 it started.
70.
So it's 2020, and now it's 2025.
That is not the answer to the transportation problem. The transportation problem is to get people to work closer to where they live.
And it also involves mass transit.
Mass transit. That's it.
Yeah. I believe people work. However, I think most of the people buy into it as well. But I think another thing that I think Crombie was really out of touch with is the one doctor per family kind of thing. And Ford say, look, we pay for doctors already. We pay for doctors and nurses free. So in 5-10 years time, we'll have enough doctors to supply what you're talking about. I think she saw that happening, and she just saying, well, you know what, if I win, by the time she win, it's like the Green Revolution. We send all these doctors away to study, right? And then boom, the revolution finished, and then you have a whole set of doctors in Grenada still, but you don't know what to do with them. You know what I mean? We have it with all the space for them. So in her thinking, in 5 to 10 years time, we have enough doctors, and go prove my point that I've supplied doctors to you. When in fact, the premier already sowed the seeds, right, for having the amount of doctors you're talking about that we want in 5 to 10 years time. So that wasn't working for a lot of people, because she understand what was going on, and she trying to capitalize on that, and that didn't work for her. She didn't resonate well with the people. You had to have this kind of a people love, and I think she didn't get that, and she was not on board with the Trump fight too. So I think that
I think she lacked in gravitas. Without the likability factor wasn't too there. And remember, from the beginning, when she won the leadership for the Liberals, four of them automatically came out and started attacking her.
Yeah,
House in Hampton. Did he find her before she could even introduce herself to Ontarians?
yeah.
That was a very, very, very good strategic move by them.
Mm.
You know, in regards to the doctor shortages, there's no one fit approach to it. I mean, it will have to be a combination of more doctors using AI technology, I believe,
Mhm.
and finding creative ways, because throwing a whole pile of money at the doctor shortages and the healthcare crisis in Ontario is it's not working.
Mm.
Previous government did that, throw a whole pile of money at it and still be end up with the same problem. So it's a multi-pronged approach, more doctors, using technology, especially AI technology,
We're talking about AI. A lot of people,
aspect of the health field.
a lot of people are afraid. I have people talking about AI this and AI that. I tell you something, get on board.
Oh, that's the way it's going right now. I mean,
Happening. Get on board or get left behind. You know, a lot
yeah.
of people who refuse to get on the .com industry when it's coming, they didn't believe either stay around. And look at what happened. You understand?
Yeah.
So I'm saying I heard a friend of, well, not a friend of mine, but a friend of a friend said when Dell computers came out, he was his neighbor. And Dell was asking him for $500, to put into the business to invest $500. He didn't see it happen. You know what I mean? And he passed it by. He regret that he didn't invest in Dell then as an initial investor into Dell, right?
Mhm.
Same with Microsoft. A lot of people talk about that wouldn't last. Even IBM, I mean, didn't see it coming. You understand? So I'm saying that invest. If somebody say, okay, I don't have $1,000, here's $200, I'll invest in you. Your $200 probably 20 years from now might cost you worth $3 billion. Because this company takes off. If, for example, AI company now might be $25, $20 per share, right? Because it's just getting off the ground. And you take $1,000 and throw into that and leave it there, right? In 12 years, you might be surprised how much money you will have. Instead, we have money and they have a credit card for $10,000 and we shop with and go on vacation. You know what I mean? I don't pay. Just take 5,000 and throw it in an AI investment somewhere around. You know what I mean? I mean, people bank in banks every day and they don't buy share from the bank they bank it. And bank making $6 billion a quarter. You know what I mean? What your dividends and shares in this is going to be? A quarter? So I tell people to rethink their investment strategies. You want to get credit cards for $50,000, $10,000, don't go shop and buy clothes and buy gas and car. You know what I mean? Subsidizing your income with a credit card. You know what I mean? It puts you in a more financial hole, and keep that rabbit hole don't get shallow, it get deeper. And before you know it, you end up with a whole lot of financial inconsistencies. You know what I mean? You can't get out of it. So I think that it's something that we have to look into, helping and teaching people to better manage themselves and their money. Yeah. Yeah, the time is now 11 minutes past 12. And I want to just recap Mr. Mark before you leave. Tell the people what's going on. And I have some dates here. If you want me to run the dates first, or you want to go to remind people of the convention tomorrow, I'll do the dates.
Yep. Excuse me. Our national convention is happening in Grenada, followed by a huge rally in Boucherville, starting at around 3 p.m. if everything goes well. We have a watch party here in Canada, up in Scarborough at 1085 Bellamy Road, Unit 4 at Avenue Restaurant, starting around the same time, around 3 p.m., but we want people to arrive early. After that, we have a general meeting for NDC chapter membership. We anticipate the Prime Minister would make an appearance, and that would be on March the 9th. And on March 23rd, we're having our NDC chapter executive election. That's for electing members of the NDC executive chapter, from the chairman right down to floor members. And you would have to be a member to participate. That is why the general meeting is before, so that we could get the general membership, well-wishers, supporters to join up. That's what's on the agenda right now. But first thing first, tomorrow, 1085 Bellamy Road, Unit 4, Avenue Restaurant. come on out. We have a watch party to watch the rally in Grenada. We have Dominica Prime Minister and St. Lucia's Prime Minister with our Prime Minister at the rally. It's going to be a huge event as we celebrate the achievements of our party.
Okay. And the bus trip on the 12th of April.
Yeah. That's coming up. That's coming up, and we want everyone to come out. So far, we have 2 buses chartered. You come out, we're gonna have to add a 3rd bus. So come on, it's one to raise funds for our party as we try to build a party headquarters and resource center. So that would be happening on April the 12th.
Also, there is we have the Windwash Compensation Scheme International Forum is now live on Zoom. So those of you want to check it out, you could check that out. It's happening right now. Also, there is this week coming up. Friends of the Earth Grenada invites you to join the conversation, intensifying our fight racial discrimination. Racial discrimination unacceptable is unacceptable. Saying here. Awareness.
In Grenada?
Yeah, they're having it's a Zoom call. I think it's a Zoom meeting. It's a Zoom meeting. Yeah.
So is racism a problem in Grenada?
No, I think it's an international solidarity movement. They have it. It's different people around the world having that. But I think the guy who spearheaded that is a great young guy, Joseph Antoine. So we have a lot of speakers taking part in that. Wednesday, March 19, 2025. So again, the phone number for that is 1-473-416-1247. Email FOTEG, FOTEG 2021@gmail.com. And Steve Cushion, moderator, UK, Patricia Cardos, De Jesus, Brazil, Luis Rabiros, Brazil, Dr. Debbie J. Shaw, Hunter College, USA. This is some of the speakers that will be in attendance to that on March 19th. And don't forget, on March 13th, GEMFM will be bringing the 46th celebration of the People's Revolution here on the 13th of March, 2020. And I think this main speaker is Didicus Jews. Yeah. And so yeah, it's happening here, right here on March 13th. So stay tuned for that. It'll be happening here again, March 13th, 2025 on GEMFM. And also on WPGN. PGN? Yeah, WPGN. I'm on Cabinet Map. So GEMFM is here. And again, this show is brought to you by Another and Others Kitchen, 477 Oakwood Avenue, Cookies Pastry Diet and Benjamin Street in Grenville, and Century 21 Grenada, Miss Paula Latouche. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a plum pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege being here with you. I will let closing remarks. Mr. Mark, closing remarks, are you?
Well, thank you for having me on. This is my first appearance here, and even though I was shaken up by Dilbert, I still love the brother. And it was a conversation, and I appreciate it, and I look forward to coming back on GEMFM. And don't be a stranger, John. You have my info.
Saturday mornings is open for discussion. So we have different topics. If we have a topic you want to talk about, you can send it to me. Put it up and we can talk about it. So we have Saturday mornings where we meander, but here we bring other people to come in and have discussion with us. You know, last week we had Inspector who came and dropped some vibes on us here last week. That was really cool. I know we didn't talk about but I know we didn't talk about our body winning the thing in Trinidad last night, Blacker Dan.
Yes.
Who I really thought would have won anyways. You know what I mean? I believe that. I love this style. I love this song. And again, I had a chat with somebody this morning, and you know, sometimes people we don't see in Grenada as good artists. Internationally, they flow. Because the mix is not just about Grenada, it's international. And people outside go relate to it. You know, so he had a relationship. And then he had a bilateral relationship with both Grenada and Trinidad. So he born grew up in Trinidad. So he's been seen as part of the Trinidad community, you know, and taking that kind of a likeness to the people who went before him in his community. That too has been.
The
But
history.
this is not the first time this happened. We had
Yeah.
before with Oluman alone going back to Calvary and going to mash up Trinidad, and then we had another one, and then now we have Black Adan coming fifth in Grenada, but winning in Trinidad.
Yeah.
And I was in Grenada for the groovy and everything, and then. I left this scratching my head. How come he didn't win? And I told my friends, listen, this guy gonna mash up Trinidad. And so said, so
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. Look at Mr.
Our judging in Grenada does be suspect bad.
That's so true.
Yeah. We haven't matured when it comes to judging yet.
Yeah.
You have this thing, man. I don't know why our people come back and win out internationally, quit away, and we beat them in Grenada. Because Ulama don't take
But
England.
listen to me. The history of Carnival, and I wish Hudson was here. The history of Carnival in Trinidad is a kind of unique one that needs to be closely examined. Because there are some early historians who claim that while Trinidad is the place where Carnival really developed, that it was brought to Trinidad by Grenadians.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, it is true.
Yeah.
It is true. It is true.
They had been doing their thing in Grenada. They just made it big in Trinidad. Yeah.
Because Trinidad didn't really have that French culture. It's when Grenadians went down to Trinidad, they brought what they took French into Trinidad. Yeah, because Trinidad was colonized mostly by the Spanish, and when Grenadians went down with the French culture of Carnival, the French part of it, we revolutionized things. We brought Carnival to Trinidad, and they took it to a higher level.
And Trinidad always have this tendency to bring it to the next level. They always have that. Have the resources too, right? So
what's his name?
We could keep going and we could keep going and going on that one.
What is
started on that one?
This guy, Gus Logie, roots is in Chantimel.
Gus Logie.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's where he come out from,
And you've been trained that and
yeah.
There are a lot of people. Lucas Power, for example.
You can't throw a stone in Trinidad and don't find somebody from Grenadian lineage or cousin, friend, uncle, sister-in-law, brother-in-law, something. And it was unique. They when about 6 years ago, when the Pew on Studies of Countries Around the World did Grenada, and Grenadians listed Trinidad as the country they most admired. Yeah, so we have a great, it's your neighbor. You can't help it, man. You got to be good to your neighbors. Got to be good to your neighbors,
Right. So Mark, you finish your closing remark and then go to Delbert. Closing remark.
Yes, I'm finished, but I do about chicken.
Listen. I for what it's worth, I think they're gonna have a good convention. There's some troubling thing leading into it. I have two really good buddies running for chairman of the party, so I cannot take sides. I'm completely neutral. I think if either one of them, Dr. Fletcher or Dr. Doughton, wins, it will be good for the party. These are guys who bring serious intellect to the position. And these are two good guys. We know them very well, John.
Yeah. You're our president.
Yeah. And so I think that would be really, really good for the party. I have heard rumors, well, not rumors really, but I know there's a groundswell in the St. John's area that should, I don't know, things don't really work out, that he should run for that constituent because NDC is weak in St. John's. The candidate there is not up to the task, so they're going to need a new candidate come the next election. Need to bring some gravitas to the party, I'm all for young people and thing, but you can't just have young people for the sake of having young people. You have to have young people who have the willingness to learn, the willingness to listen. But I think they're in a good path. Contrary to what you may have believed, and John could tell you that if you follow me on Facebook, every day I'm relentlessly defending that government. but I do it.
Yeah,
I do,
always in war about NDC.
yeah, I do it from an analytical point of view. I'm not personally invested in. I'm invested in NDC doing well because if NDC does well, the people of Grenada do well. But so I want to see that. And yesterday and into this morning, I was in heated debate with my cousin Michael and Francis Pierre.
We bring them here, but they does not want to come.
I invited them publicly. I said, "Come on." No. They turned around and tell me, "Come on Mr. Pierre show." I say, "Bring it on. You know I'm not afraid." I said, "You know."
I didn't know Pierre was your cousin.
No. Michael is my cousin.
Michael.
Oh,
yeah.
Michael,
but Pierre, I know very well. When I'm in Grenada, I hang out in a spot that he hang out. He's a very smart gentleman, very good person, you know.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm really troubled with what he posts online because and I take him to task on it all the time. But you know, these are good people. So I don't make I give my punches and I take them, but I don't make any enemies over politics, you know. And I hope that the convention succeed, but I think the next 2 years, I want to see the government do some big things. I know that plan that was put out for the medical complex, medical village, you can call it, is a super ambitious one. If they're able to pull that off, that would arguably be one of the most ambitious projects ever undertaken in the Caribbean. So I'm hoping that they're able to pull it off, and that the people can benefit. But in the meanwhile, this is a 5 to 7 year project. So what I would like to see happening in the meanwhile is to find some money and to increase the health infrastructure. You know, let's keep improving the health centers, the community health centers. You know, I want to see a national school repair program. Our schools are in terrible shape. You know, I want to see a quasi, I don't believe in government run right now, a quasi public-private partnership for transportation. What happens in the bus terminal on evening is unacceptable. And we have to do something, keep upgrading our roads. And we have to invest in our young people. You know, listen, the revolution showed the benefits that a society can get when it invests in young people. Okay? And one of the biggest investment always during our budget presentation then was in education. And 10 years after, even 10 years, 15 years after the revolution collapsed, that investment in education was paying huge dividends for Grenada that led to the emerging middle class in Grenada today.
Yep.
So we have to continue investing in education and continue to create opportunities for our young people and take care of our elderly. A country that turns its back on the elderly is a morally bankrupt country. So I want to see us do more to help our elderly. There are too many people in Grenada going to sleep hungry every night, or too many children going to school not properly fed. And if you're hungry, you cannot learn. You know, so, but, you know, a lot of progress have been made. And as you see, the NNP operatives, you know what I used to say? After the election, it was 24 of them. Now we're down to about 5 of them, okay, holding the fort. But they're becoming more desperate. They're spreading more rumors, more lies. I mean, they just make stuff up. And when you see that, you know that you're losing, you know? So, hey.
Something we didn't touch on at all this morning. I hope we touch on later on next week or probably. Mitchell relinquishing of his power altogether. And
he didn't relinquish no power. He was going to get pushed over the fall edge. What's in is Woodford is not his. Woodford is John's, right?
Yeah, Woodford is St. John.
So, okay, so you know that when you come out from Montmorris Gap, down in the back there's a big hole, a big, precipice going down in the water. Somebody was about to push him over there, and that's why he jumped.
He get pushed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he got pushed. He got pushed.
I so that's the thing, but he still want to his constituency seat. He still want to hold on that. I don't want to happen to him.
I joked yesterday because there's a young lady. She's very smart, but she just gets into some wild stuff sometimes. I also invited her to come on the show. I think her name is Annette Mitchell or something like that. And she said, it's time for the prime minister to call the election. And I'm like, call election for what? For you guys to lose, 14-1? I said, this time around, I don't even know if that could carry his own seat, He happy. St. George's Northwest is in trouble. He has been fully discredited. And he's going to have a challenge winning that seat another time,
But right now, with what's going on in Grenada for this convention, you check their social media platform, they're going crazy. Going crazy down there because they can't understand how come the NDC is building momentum, still building momentum. How come there's a fallout with the government and party?
Yeah.
And they're flipping out over it. They can't flip it. But they have a lot to flip out over because we ain't going anywhere anytime soon.
And the life support have not been pulled entirely on NLP yet. I think it's in a coma, and
we can't count them out. Of course, you can't count them out. It's a political organization. They have money, no doubt about it, but they just do not have the organizational structure right now.
They got no money. Kid got money, and when Kid go, he go anything money. He does not don't have no community mindedness about it. When he live with that, he living with his money,
I'll buy that then.
Yeah, he ain't living nothing for them. When they don't want him anymore, you remember when you were growing up, when you put the most money for a ball and you out and you earn out, you cut your piece of ball and go home?
Yeah. You take your ball and go home. You take your ball.
Yeah, Keith is a cut your piece of ball and go home kind of person. Take your ball and go home. Yeah.
Just join the conversation there. And I send you an invitation. I know why you come on. However, he says here, Grenadian brought Carnival to Trinidad. Grenadians and Trinidad, the three island, Grenada, Trinidad, and Tobago are one big with the common culture. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I told somebody that I don't know how more for people don't know that Grenada and Tobago was under one rule at one time.
I think,
Grenadians and Trinidadians, yeah.
Even Grenadians, part of the Grenadians Island was part of the Grenada too at one time. I think some was done in Montreal that developed the states, but it was one tree, Tobago, Grenada, and the Grenadians. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was, I think it was St. Vincent, and that treaty developed the states. Yeah. So here we go. We had one people. Yeah. However, guys,
please rename Sendal Tunnel. Why can't we rename Sendal Tunnel? Why?
Coming soon, there, but don't worry.
One of the most brutal governors in our history.
Is enough. To be changing Grenada with naming our streets, and we had much of heroes in Grenada that people.
Yeah, man. Let's get rid of these people and them. Who's
up on the streets and on our buildings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have good ones. That
let's start naming our government buildings after people. Let's start renaming our streets, throughout the island, and for Governor Sendell was a mass murderer. The guy was sadistic, and
it's funny how you Larry Lynch, Mr. Lynch Street in Greenwich.
Yeah, he was in that frame of mind. Willie Lynch. Yeah, he was in that frame of mind. So it's the same thing when my Jewish brothers and sisters tell me about the Holocaust. I'm like, What happened to Leopold? What he did in the Congo? You never heard of that? And you say you're a human rights activist?
Mhm.
You know, so yeah.
All right, guys, we gotta get out of here.
All right, man. I'll be looking and following the convention tomorrow. You know.
Right.
Um,
Be watching.
yeah. Huh?
Be watching.
I'm vested in who becomes chairman. That's it.
I want to see who becoming new general secretary. That's my concern.
Most likely,
yeah, I have a problem with that.
I have to vote tomorrow, so I'm not gonna preempt anything. But
I think those positions as general secretary and chairman and I don't know, probably treasurer should not be held by any elected officials.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, again,
because the workload is too much.
Again, you see, my brother, again, the revamping of our constitution, party constitution, those questions came up, and maybe we'll see that change coming where certain positions in the executive would be a paid position. So there you go. Hold strain, keep tuning, something that you like might happen.
Yeah, never rejoin the party. He just a child from the party.
I ain't happening.
Come home, Delbert. Come home.
I'm an independent.
Come home, Delbert. Stop being on the fence. Come home.
I'm not on the fence. I'm an avid supporter of the government, but I'm an independent. You know. I can't do party politics anymore. It's generally too small-minded for me. It's kind of.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm interested in big changes. You know, what do we do? What do we do to help people? That's all I'm about. You know.
But has been accused on my show of being a insurrectionist. Real time. And we thought you were voting NMP in the last election.
Yes. Yeah, imagine that. You're gonna accuse me. You know, my mother would get up out of her grave and strangle me, you know? So
yeah. But over the years we have seen a lot of crazy things happen, but nevertheless, NDC has survived and going to survive. You know, not just but leaving out it manifests what you want to do, and we see it happening. We see a lot of things taking place in different parts of Grenada that NDC is responsible for, you know, and just going to manifest its well-being among the people, you know. I think the Grenadian populace is now buying into more than ever into what they see happening in Grenada. The voters love what they see, you know. Those who was on the fence understand the game and they see what happening. People who was supporting NMP, now you listen to some people and people say, no, you know, we see in progress. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, clearly.
It's a big contract.
And you don't have the vindictive nature of Keith Mitchell, you know. This is a man that, you know, everything had to go through him, and he had this really, you know, anal way of dealing with people who did not support him or he didn't think he was, you know, vocal enough for him, that you would be sidelined, that your family could lose jobs and lose opportunities. I mean, this is a man that you know, brought a level of political tribalism to Grenada that was never part of our culture. And like I've always said, that history will not remember him kindly. When our grandchildren are writing the history and studying the effects of Mitchell on our governance, I argue that Keith Mitchell has kept Grenada back by about 30 years. We should have been 30 years ahead of where we are. And people talk about how great a politician he is. He's not.
Election era.
To survive and succeed because there's nobody willing to step up and challenge him.
I think KB said that, right? KB said that nobody's really challenging Keith for
yes. Nobody challenged him.
I
looked at this guy in his best and I said, I would trash him in a debate. I would trash him. He wouldn't, you know. And so why were all these people I don't know. But anyway, he has been a great disservice to Grenada, because and he had many opportunities over many decades to do the right thing by our people. And every time he failed, he squandered it. Yeah. So yeah.
89 would have been one of his best year leading into 1995, but then somewhere along the road, Keith has lost his marbles.
Look at the debacle that he created with Grenlec when they passed that law in 2017-18 for the deregulation of the industry. I supported that. I don't think any company should have a monopoly. The reality is that nobody else was going to come into the marketplace because Grenada is too small to have multiple electric companies, right? But because of and that's the other thing. When Grenlec was sold way back when, what Grenlec put into the contract gave them a monopoly and sort of gave them carte blanche over Grenada's energy policy. So whatever had to change in the energy construct, Grenlec had to approve it, WRB. Okay? But when the law passed, WRB went to the government and say, okay, you have right of first refusal, buy us out. And they offered the stocks at about $14. You could have negotiated down, even if you negotiate down to $12 or $13. All right. He said no, and then allowed WRB to take us to the International Court of Settlements. All right.
Yeah.
And we lost and ended up paying like almost 7 times the valuation of the company. So now you have a company that's stuck with all equipment, no cash on hand, and it cannot improve service to the people. And Keita is responsible for that. He is responsible. And this is not his first debacle with Grenlec, because when he was Minister of Works, they bought in refurbished old equipment and lied to the Grenadian people and told them it was brand new equipment. And there was a commission on it that said that he should never be in public office again. But the Grenadian people ignored that. So this is a man that we have to write our history, and he has to be given his due place in it. He was a cancer on Grenada.
All right, there we go. So guys, keep on tuning, keep on listening to Gem FM radio on the internet, www.gemfm.ca. And again, don't forget to visit Ola's Kitchen, 477 Oakwood Avenue, Cookies, Pastry Delight, and Ben Jones Street in Grenville. And call Miss Paula Latouche. Check her out on the web, Century 21 in Grenada. All right, blessings, guys. Have a wonderful afternoon.
All right, man. Have a great afternoon.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, I still love John Lee, HR and die for these high. Whoa. Love Jah and live life forevermore. Oh, HR and die, you shall be troubled. Oh, say, love Jah and live life forevermore. Oh, HR and die, you shall be troubled. Shepherd that lead my sheep astray, so far astray. For I know they got to pay someday. Woe be unto those who now and see their children grow. Oh, for I know they got to stay under, way below. Woe unto those evil doers, for I know there is no good in all your heart. But I say, love Jah and live life forevermore. Oh, let Jah and die, you shall be stopped. Love Jah and live life forevermore. Oh, let Jah and die, you shall be stopped. Living this life, you got to be strong. so strong, strong, to overcome temptation. Every day, every day. I no want no gold, no diamonds, no pearls. A clean heart and good liberty here on earth. So you see, so keep it clean. Remember to praise God. For his man shelter and man shield. Remember I say, love God and live life forevermore. Nature and die, you shall be sharper. Love Jah and live life forevermore. Nature and die, you shall be sharper. Out to all you good kind-hearted people, oh, just keep the faith and life will go on. Remember to pray, don't let the weak ones get you down. No, no, no. Remember I say you got to be strong, so strong. So come on now and give Jah praise. That's what he needs. For all the great things he had done. Remember I say, love Jah and live life forevermore. Oh, nature and die, you shall be sharp. Hey, love Jah and live life forevermore. Oh, nature and die, you shall be sharp. Oh, yeah. Oh, you're the shepherd that lead my sheep astray. So follow me, for I know.